So Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 is finally here. Vicarious Visions made Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2 previously. Then there was like this hiatus. It was just kind of like Vicarious Visions just, you know, they got put onto other stuff within Activision, and the rumored 3+4 never happened until recently, where finally they found Iron Galaxy and they had that development team and they stuck them on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4, and I think they did a pretty solid job. Now, it's better to look at this as a remake than a remaster, and I think it's the same with the first games as well, because of the fact, and I'll say this right up front, that career mode is missing for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. Your classic career mode is not there. It's replaced with those 2-minute sessions and kind of goals that we have in the first 3 games. And a lot of people are going to be disappointed about that. But again, if you look at this more of a remake than a remaster, I think you'll appreciate it for what it is. Yeah, you're going to be bummed out. Still, I think the career mode's not in there, but it's a really solid game, and there's part of me that's like, hey, I'd rather have some solid Tony Hawk Pro Skater kind of games that, you know, are missing some stuff than not. It's like if they had remade Thug, I'd be bummed out if there was no story mode. It's just 2-minute sessions, but at the same time, it's like, well, it's better than nothing in my opinion. But again, reviews are subjective. It's going to be my review. It's going to be more kind of, you know, just flowing naturally, not mechanically scripted. I'm not going to read, you know, off a script or anything like that. So it might be a little bit looser, but it'll be a little bit more raw and a little bit more kind of, you know, come across as more honest, I think, maybe. So we're going to jump into this. I do want to say real quick up front, technically, I did and did not get this game for free from Activision. I paid for it originally on PS5 when it came out early access, and then a couple days later, Activision did give me a free copy for the Nintendo Switch 2 so I could bring gameplay over my Nintendo channel. If you want to see that and hear a little bit more of my thoughts and impressions, a little bit more in depth on the Switch 2, check out that videos on my Nintendo channel. Nintendo channel's link in the description below. I will say it's a solid version of the game on the Switch 2. Not as good as the PS5, assumingly Xbox Series X version, but it's a really solid version that still plays really good and you know, looks good enough. So let's talk about what do we have in this game. Let me just get the soundtrack out of the way. I'm not going to go really in depth with the soundtrack, but essentially with the soundtrack, there's a few returning songs, but most of them, probably like 80 to maybe 90% of the songs are brand new. I think Tony Hawk mentioned somewhere in an interview somewhere I've seen in like a YouTube short or something, and I'm paraphrasing like vaguely something about the fact, you know, it's like it's just to kind of fit more of the era, right, and the vibe, and you know, soundtrack. We're not going to copy one for one the original. They did bring a couple, you know, songs back, like Ace of Spades by Motorhead, which is cool, and you know, some CKY and stuff like that. But a lot of the tracks are newer that are not returning. So beyond that, though, I will say there's a streamer mode. So streamer mode is great because then, like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2, I was skating to nothing. It was just sound effects. But in here, there's some like royalty-free kind of songs that they have in here, a few of them, a handful of them, and they're pretty catchy, and it's mostly instrumental stuff. But that's nice because, again, for people to you know, create content, streaming, video, whatever, you can have some kind of music in the background still that you don't have to, you know, put your own, and it's royalty-free, or when you're just kind of playing around, you know, and whatnot. So that's nice. In terms of the gameplay works, like, I mean, it feels great. It looks very similar, you know, graphically, you know, maybe obviously a little bit nicer than Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2, and it plays probably like ballpark similarly. So if you did play Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2, it's like one of those things where the game plays smoother than you remember it if you played the originals way back in the day on PS1, or, you know, whatever other console you played back in the day, the original Xbox or whatever. But so it plays smoother, but it also feels pretty much like how you remember it, right? And so the gameplay's on point, plays great, it looks great, you know, it's buttery smooth. I was playing in fidelity mode, so, you know, it looks a little sharper. You can play on PS5 and Xbox Series X, and I think on PC obviously as well. You can put it on performance mode where you have 120 hertz if you want that higher frame rate, but then a little bit less fidelity and whatnot. Now we do have, like I said, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. We have, you know, all the all the maps there: Foundry, Canada, Rio, Suburbia, Airport, Skater Island, Los Angeles, Tokyo, and Cruise Ship for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. And of course, you know, your typical kind of 2-minute sessions, you know, and you have certain maps like Rio, Skater Island, and Tokyo. They're going to be your competition parks and, you know, whatnot. So classic format, like you probably remember from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, and similar to 3. I don't remember, by the way, what the goals were in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, so I'm not sure how to kind of compare them, if they are similar goals or not, because it's been many years since I played 3. But anyways, you know, you got your hidden stats, your hidden cash. There's like the hidden Iron Galaxy logo that unlocks secret stuff in the secret shop, which we'll talk about a little bit in a second, but I don't want to spoil too much, so I'm not going to go too much into the secret shop, but we'll talk about that briefly. And then Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, we have College San Francisco Movie Studio, which is a brand new map made by Iron Galaxy. We'll talk about brand new maps in just a second. And that one is competition park. Alcatraz Water Park, Kona or Kona, I never know how to pronounce it. I think it's Kona, which is a competition park. Shipyard, London. Zoo, some people were bummed out that this was made a competition park as well. And then Pinball, which again is a brand new park made by Iron Galaxy. So there's 3 brand new parks: Movie Studio, Water Park, and Pinball, made by Iron Galaxy. And these are really fun parks, man. I think they did a really fantastic job, you know, making these parks. And I think these alone showcases that Iron Galaxy has the potential to make original Tony Hawk Pro Skater content. Will they make an original game at some point? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But this showcases the fact that they are very capable of, you know, reigning the helms, or whatever the phrase is, with this series. You know, and I think these are really fantastic, unique, fun parks that flow really well, as well. So that's the thing, right? These parks, I mean, the old ones, they had a nice flow to them. So it's always hit or miss, especially with new developers, but I think they did a great job with that. So yeah, again, you're going to go through it. You're going to do all your goals. When you do all your goals, eventually you're going to unlock basically the solo tour, kind of like in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2. Then you can basically go through all of the goals. Well, what unlocks is pro goals actually first. So you do all your goals, you unlock the pro goals, which are an additional set of goals, like 5 or 6 for each level, that are a little bit harder. And then if you do all that, you'll unlock the solo tour, which basically means you can do all the goals in every single level with all the different skaters, if you so choose, and whatnot. They do have your free skate. No goals, no timer, no limits, just cruise around, have some fun. Single session, which is just kind of like if you just want to go in, do some high score runs, you can do that. Speed run, so, you know, just park goal time trials, basically. So try to do like all the goals in a set amount of time and whatnot. There is a tutorial section. I did all the tutorials mostly just for the trophy, but it actually explains a lot of stuff really well. So if you are new to the series, it's really nice that they added that tutorials. It's all commentated by Tony Hawk as well, so that's really nice. And then of course you have your classic skater movies in here, which are unlocked by doing specific challenges for each pro. Of course, you got your, you know, your customize a skater and all that. You got your stats, right? You got your stats that you find hidden across each level. Lots of appearance and you know, kind of customization, from boards to grip tape to wheels and trucks to hats and hoodies and shirts and pants and whatever else. So lots to unlock as well as you're doing different things, doing different goals, unlocking levels, unlocking, you know, doing challenges. There's different things you can unlock through there as well, which is also going to be in the secret shop. I'm not going to click open the secret shop, but if you go in there, basically there's a bunch of stuff you can unlock, like effects. So for example, you can have kind of like lightning effects on your board or whatever. If you want, you can unlock other kind of, you know, special like galaxy kind of looking, I guess, camos. Like, okay, if you played Call of Duty and you, like the dark matter camo and how it's kind of reactive and it moves, it's like that, but for like you can put it on your deck. You can, you know, put like, there's shirts for that, hats, you know, different apparel like that, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Okay, so lots of stuff there. I'd love to see it. In terms of challenges, lots of different challenges to do, from speed runs and you know, high combos, but high scores, kind of like get 2 million on this map or whatever, right? There's some skater challenges, which could be like, you know, as you know, Tony Hawk performed the 900 in a combo that's worth at least 250,000. And those are how you unlock, of course, the skater movies. Lots of different things. Like I said, there's, you know, tricks and stuff. Land a combo of at least 25 tricks. So 6 different categories of challenges. There's no ranking system in here like in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. These challenges are not for XP. They're specifically to earn, I think, money, and then also to be able to unlock all these different things. When you do these challenges, you're going to unlock stuff, like I said, like extra decks and apparel and a lot of different stuff like that is really cool and whatnot. Now, there is a records section as well. You can check leaderboards. So you versus the world, if you would so choose. You can view your own statistics, if you will. So you can see, you know, your general stats. What is your highest score? You can see also the highest score without mods. So if there is a difference, if you've gotten a high score with mods for whatever reason, you can see that there as well. You know, same thing with combos, your time played, longest grinds, you know, so it could tell you 13 seconds for me, 13.7 seconds for one example, longest manual time, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really nice to see. And then, of course, there's park stats for each park. There's creative park stats. There's multiplayer stats. So there's stats for everything. Speaking of multiplayer, so multiplayer, they brought that back as well. Of course, lots of different stuff in here. Of course, with multiplayer, there's the competitive playlist. There's just the free skate playlist and the Hawk playlist. I don't know why they called the first one competitive, because it's basically, there is no like non-competitive version like there was in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2. But anyways, this is where you're gonna go. You're gonna play a variety of different, you know, game modes like graffiti and combo, and you know, get the highest get the certain combo in a time limit. So there's that. And then they also have their own new mode called Hawk, which is pretty fun. Basically, you have 4 different letters and you try to hide them across the map. Everybody's doing that. When you're hiding them, nobody can see where you're dropping them. They can just see you kind of skating around. Then when the round starts, you can kind of like go and whoever picks up the most letters, I know you can't pick up your own, whoever picks up the most letters, you get, you know, points for that. And if yours are well hidden and people are not able to get them, then you get a bonus at the end of the round. So it's a cool mode that they added. It's fun. And of course, like I said, free skate, you can do local, you can do private matches, different things like that. So a lot of stuff with multiplayer that you can do there as well. And yeah, multiplayer, the servers work pretty good. At the time of recording this, of course, it's launch week. And I had a lot of fun with that. Creative Park, lots of different options there. I'm not going to go too much into that, but I mean, it's Creative Park. You can add your own goals to the Creative Park as well, which is nice. You know, just a lot of different variety within the Creative Park that I don't think was there in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2. So thankfully, they've kind of expanded that as well, and whatnot. In terms of the skater roster, unfortunately, I can't show you the skater roster page because I'm going to spoil some of the secret skaters. I know I don't want to do that, but there's like over 30 something like main skaters. There are a lot of skaters in this game. Of course, we know that Bam Margera's in here as well. Andy Anderson's in here as well. You know, those two were announced kind of like towards, you know, just before launch, and some fan favorites. So a lot of returning skaters, a lot of brand new skaters. The roster is really solid, really great in my opinion. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. I think that pretty much covers all the main stuff. Like I said, the big bummer for a lot of people is going to be the fact that Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, it doesn't have that, you know, classic career mode. My gripe too is that the trophies in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2 were really bad for the fact that you had to get level 100, which is really difficult with the XP system. So they were like, okay, we're going to remove that. But now we got a trophy. So if you are trying to get 100% completion, that is basically going to do every single solo tour with every single skater. And it is the biggest roster of skaters we've ever had. And so that is just way too much of a grind, and I just don't like when they add like tedious trophies. That's not in terms of gameplay, so I'm not going to factor that too much into my score. But all that to say, what would I rate this game? I mean, it's really solid. Is it the best Tony Hawk Pro Skater game out there that has ever been made? No, I still think that obviously like Thug 1, 2, and you know, Thaw are some of the greatest ones ever made. But for a remake, not a remaster, I think they did a phenomenal job. I think it shows a lot of promise and potential for Iron Galaxy. Hopefully they continue making stuff in the future, whether it's more remasters, remakes. I hope they do more like remasters with like Thug 1, 2, and Thaw, not remakes, remasters. Or do their own thing, because they've proven that they're capable of doing that. So I think I would give this game a solid like 8.2 out of 10. It could be better. It could have a little bit, you know, more content, I think, in certain areas, but the content is solid. The roster is huge. There is a lot of fun to be had. It's a solid game. I'm so glad that we got 3+4, and I hope that they keep making Tony Hawk Pro Skater games because they're so much fun. If you've never played them, please play them. They're so much fun, and I want to see more people get exposed. Also to real skate. Maybe you've never been exposed to real skateboarding, and a lot of people back in the 90s got exposed to skateboarding because of these games, and hopefully that kind of breeds a new generation of skaters. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe for more. What would you rate this game out of 10 if you have played it? For a bunch of other gaming content, keep it locked in this channel. Lots of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3+4 guides on this channel. I'll link the playlist down in the description below, and Nintendo content on the Nintendo channel. Thanks for watching. Till the next one. Game on. See you guys later.
Hey you! What are you doing? Join the Skeleton Army! Do it today! Don't wait till tomorrow because tomorrow might never come. The Earth is gonna fade, that's inevitable. The next second of your life's not even promised, so you better think about where you're going, and you might as well just join the Skeleton Army. Plus, we do kinda like you a little bit, so it'd be nice to see you around here. But if you don't want to, hey, your loss. See you later.